Soldiers, a question is that where a chartered accountant is appointed as an auditor of a sugar company and he is supposed to do a performance audit of that sugar company. Performance audit means it's a evaluation of government schemes, projects, government entities for economy, efficiency, and effectiveness in the operation. So, what are the aspects required in the planning of the performance audit? First of all, there should be a clear cut understanding of the entity and the program, what they do, what actually they are doing actually here. Say, example, suppose if you are doing an auditing of Manrega. Manrega is one of the government schemes where guaranteed employment is provided to a particular person actually here. So, they generate employment opportunities actually here. That is Manrega. That's the thing here. So first understand what is that Manrega scheme. Then also understand the funding mechanism, employment targets, who are the people who are given employments, and whether there is an actual execution on the ground. Is it happening that way? That you have to check. So first understand the entity or the program. The second thing what you need to highlight, my dear soldiers, is that define the objectives and the scope of audit actually here. So objective means to assess, say, example, why are we doing such audit and what is the coverage that is happening. Say example, you want to assess whether smart city mission has improved the basic infrastructure. So a lot of cities have gone to smart city mission. So have they increased the basic infrastructure? And scope, what is the scope actually? So the focus on 10 selected cities from 17 to 22, like say water, sanitation, public transport. Okay. So basically what happens here, what is the coverage? What coverage you're doing? So you're selecting 10 cities actually and for a period of 17 to 22. And what improvements that has happened in water, sanitation and public transportation. The third stage is determining the audit criteria. Audit criteria is like a standard. It's like a guideline actually here, which the entity should satisfy. Say example that the government guidelines, performance indicators actually here, like say what is the percentage of fund utilized, what is the target and what is the achievement, okay, and the citizen feedback to the benchmark. So you have to determine the audit criteria, the benchmark against which you will measure the actual performance. That is audit criteria. Say example, financial statement are prepared as per accounting standard. Accounting standard will be an audit criteria. Okay, that's the thing here. So similarly, what is the target to be achieved? That is an audit criteria. Okay, this is the thing here. Then next one, the fourth stage is the deciding the audit approach actually here. So whether we should do a desktop review, we have to do actually, or whether we should do a field visits, whether how much interview should be done with the officials and the beneficiaries actually here, data analysis. All these things you have to highlight the audit approach actually. Then developing an audit question, that's the thing here. So take example that whether the targets of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has been achieved on time. So whether Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana targets have been achieved, whether the beneficiaries were identified transparently, is there any cost escalation in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and whether the beneficiaries have been given, so is it transparent. The fifth stage is what? Developing an audit question. The sixth stage is assessing the audit team skill and whether any outside expertise is required. Say take example, if you are doing an auditing of a renewable energy projects, so in such case actually here you have to bring an external consultant who has a domain expertise in solar and wind power plants. That's the thing here. Okay. Then preparing audit design matrix or the audit design matrix. What is the objective? Assess the implementation of the scheme. Then, like say, scheme actually here. So, what is the question actually here? Like say, for example, Swachh Bharat Mission. So, you have to see the Swachh Bharat Mission has been implemented or not. And so, what is the question you will ask? Is there any open defecation happening? Or is it eliminated actually here? So, criteria will be the government guidelines. A methodology is that you have to do a field survey. Have they constructed sufficient toilets? Have they constructed sufficient bathrooms actually here? So that is the thing here. The next one, establishing the timetable and the resources within how many months will be required for data collection, how many months you'll be spending on field visits, then time for drafting the report, how many people you require, how many assistants you have to take. And also you have to intimate the audit program to the audit entities. You have to give a formal letter that this is the audit program we have. So you can communicate the same thing to the audit entity. Okay. So these are the aspects to be considered for planning a performance audit. Planning a performance audit, again, understanding the entity and the program, understanding the entity program. Then you have to define the objective and the scope, actually, objective and the scope. Then you have to determine the audit criteria. What is the audit criteria actually here? So what is the criteria? So what is an audit criteria actually here? Then what is an audit approach? So audit criteria and audit approach. And also you have to develop an audit question actually here. So you have to develop an audit question. You have to assess the skill. You have to assess the skill of the audit team, and any outside expertise is required. Then you have to prepare an audit design matrix, to be prepared actually. You have to establish the timetable and resources required, and the intimation of the audit program. So you have to give the intimation of audit program to the audit entities. Okay, so these are the things. Fine, I'll see you in the next question.